Heck, I still have a little more time before curfew. May as well talk about my quantum entanglement thing. It really was like an Alice in Wonderland situation. And it hasn't been like that since, not how it was when I first started. Moving things around just so expertly. I also called it witchcraft OCD because of the weird symbols. And the symbols were simple when I started. You know, little dot with the lines coming away from it, looks like a little comet, a star, an ampersand, an alpha, an omega, the sign of Takezo Kensei, the the yin yang sign with an extra little wavy line and no dots. But then, I mean, it really evolved from there. But what I was doing is sort of like putting together a color palette before you start painting, or creating a solid backbone of a switching station for concepts to flow through. And then it was just such a weird time for me. So much wonder. That's why slogging through so much regular life is kind of boring. I took these little star nightlights, like the one that I had when I was a kid on the Laclede Street in Wichita, drew some symbols on it. They came in a 2-pack, drew different symbols on both of them, on the star part and the detachable wall part, interchanged them, plugged them in different locations. There was a time when I had to walk like, I don't know, 7 or 8 miles, but I did it so quickly. It was like wearing 7 league boots. Like, the distances of the world were suddenly smaller to me. It was, I mean, and I remember this one time I found an orange stick on the ground, and I went and I put it in my quantum entanglement project, and then next time I went outside there was orange sticks fucking everywhere, like they had just multiplied. Now, I've actually become less observant, I think, because the rational part of my mind doesn't like stuff changing, so I just stop looking at stuff. I'm like, did that change? Oh, it doesn't matter. I don't even care. I think that's part of it. But a large part of it was because things were at maximum disorder, and the first part of the quantum entanglement project was just creating that backbone of switching. There'd be things where I'd go into the fitness center of my apartment complex and put a bunch of different objects right in front of the mirror. Then I'd go back, mess around with stuff in the quantum entanglement project. Then I went back and all of that stuff was gone. And then I'd go back, mess around with a little, it was all back. Like I'm switching between fucking universes. That's not how I thought about it then. It's hard to think of how I did think of it. I'm like, oh, I've altered the scalar factor, so I can no longer perceive it. It's no longer in this realm of reality. I don't know. I just think about that. And of course, as time has passed, my rational mind is like, oh, it was all just hallucinations, your memory is wrong, yada yada. I don't know, but it's nice to move forward with stuff so I don't have to think about that very much. I remember I messed around with my quantum entanglement project. I put some laundry in the laundry machine. And then I went and I put on a belt and I heard a thunk. And I went down and I checked the laundry machine and it was no longer running and the clothes were gone. Took off the belt, put it back on the table, went down there and checked. There was the laundry in the machine running. I remember I had these 2 8-pound dumbbells with different symbols on them. They were some of the primary ingredients of my quantum entanglement project. Another was a yo-yo that I had hanging over it, and I'd just move it so different symbols were over the table before I'd switch stuff around. Anyway, I put one of these weights out on the stoop in front of the building, switched some stuff around, and it disappeared. And then I switched some more stuff around, and a box that I'd thrown away like 3 days ago appeared in its place. So I went and threw it away again. I found that dumbbell. I didn't actually find it. It reappeared. Like, I went out, and this is when I was trekking across town, plugging in star night lights. My keys disappeared from my pocket, and I learned doing the quantum entanglement project that when my keys disappeared from my pocket, whenever I got home, my door would be ajar. That was just like a regular thing that would happen. I'd lock it, I'd leave, my keys would disappear, the door would be ajar, and I'd find my keys. This one time I came back, though, that dumbbell that had disappeared like a week previously was right back in place where it had always been in the quantum entanglement project. And I'm like, I did not fucking imagine that. And what's the alternative explanation? Somebody took it, they waited till I was gone, they motherfucking picked my lock and put it right back where it was supposed to be. How did they know where it was supposed to be? Were they watching me this whole time? I mean, that sounds so paranoid, it's less likely than the fucking crazy shit. It hasn't been like that since, but at least then it was like I was really wrapped in a mystery. But for the past 8 years, it's mostly been like this mundane, ordinary shit with sometimes I'll just go out of my way and put some objects on a fire hydrant, maybe go Jaliatusa Mayoki or some fucking magic words. I mean, I think all that's done with, though. Just try to live a normal life now and wait for the apocalypse. Let's hope.